I am so excited for yet another epic conversation on the Life at Full Blast podcast. Today, I have a guest who has been in music as a composer, a pianist, a songwriter, a singer, and an educator. And he's here today to talk about a little bit about his book based off of a letter that he received and it completely changed his life. So, Kory, welcome to the show. I'm so grateful that you're here today.
Oh, great. Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yes. And actually, if people are watching the video episode of this and not the audio, you have a giant piano in your background. I'm assuming you play that all the time.
Yeah. It's a 9-footer.
That is a large piano.
Yeah. I found the biggest one that I could afford, and
Mhm.
there we are. Actually, I got it secondhand because they're so expensive, and I got it from this guy, this Russian guy who he had a warehouse full of grand pianos, and he buys them from Japan because apparently you're stigmatized in Japan if you buy anything secondhand.
Oh, interesting.
So I guess they get shipped to BC, and then he had a link to here, so that's how I got it. I got a very good deal, so I'm happy. But you've been dreaming all your life, I need a grand piano, right? And this was fine.
Mhm.
It's a Yamaha, and it's a good make, and I like it.
That's amazing. I love that. And to be able to find such a great deal on something that is very expensive. You see those grand pianos in pretty fancy places sometimes. So it's cool to see it in your background. So, Kory, tell us a little bit about your career. I mean, you've been a composer, a pianist for most of your life. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got started doing that and what inspired you to get into the arts?
Well, the arts, see, uh, it's always somebody else. It's not yourself. In my case, I had nothing to do with it. My mother said, "You're going to play the piano." I'm
Hmm.
I can tell you, actually, I can see it now. I was probably about 7 or 8, and I'm in the living room looking out with a picture window in the front window, and I'm looking out the window. There's nothing to do, and these men, I see them coming up the steps with this
Hmm.
large thing covered in a quilt. From Eaton's. Eaton's was around. That's how long ago it was, right? And they bring it up. They're bringing them in the house. My mom says, "Oh, you're going to start piano lessons next week." So that was the my baptism by fire. So I had nothing,
Hmm.
and it didn't stop there. I mean, it's and I got to say this too. Any listeners who are think of getting their kids into music, it's going to be twice as hard for you, and not not your because you because my mom just did this naturally. She it was no argument, practice every day,
Hmm.
half hour, okay. And well, the good thing, it was Monday to Friday, so I had the weekends off. And so I'm practicing, and I'm not thrilled about it, and I'm every 5 minutes, 5 minutes up yet, mom. And she's in the she's in the kitchen, and it's connected to the living room so she can hear me. She says, "No, not yet," and I'm back at it again. So it was really 10 years before the mast, uh, and as I got old, but I did have talent. But the only thing I didn't really like was the literature. They're giving you things like three blind mice, and up the hillside, down the hill. I mean, just inane friggin' pieces. Pardon my French. That the word. I mean, they were. I don't know what the hell they were for, but who wants to listen? Ding dong, doo doo, ding dong. And so that this is in hindsight, right? This is only
Yeah.
in hindsight that I'm thinking this is why I was born. And
Hmm.
and then uh, the teacher I had, she used to come to the house. She'd always say, "You got to have the thing that you must have curved fingers." So I
Hmm.
happened to be playing, with my fingers like this flat, and
Flat. Mhm.
she took her ruler and gave me a whack across. And being brought up politely, I didn't. I went, okay. I made them even straighter. And she said, "Oh, Mrs. Livingston, my teacher." After my mom said, "He's one of my best students, but he just makes me so frustrated." Could you imagine I'm playing there and you're going to rap me across? I mean, that was a total shock to me, and I was, I was so ticked. I said, "I'll fix you." Okay, bam, like that. But it wasn't until there was an era back in the 70s when garage bands were very, very popular. And then I got to be a teenager, and I discovered rock music and blues and stuff like that. Holy cow, And then I said, I'm going to join a garage band. I'm going to join a band. Of course, I went there thinking that I've had all those years of training. I didn't know a damn thing. Because pop music is based on chords and improv, and the classical way it's dee 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 Mary had a little, I mean, gee,
Right?
nothing.
We're bored.
Oh, nothing musical, but that lit a fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I went and found a jazz piano teacher, and it was very rare at the time because now jazz is taught at the universities and conservatories. Back then, I remember once when I was a teenager, I was studying I went back to the conservatory to finish up my technique, and the lady, my teacher, her name was EV. That's her nickname, Edna Victoria Baggs, and that is who she was. The name. I mean, if you're going to be described by your looks, it's described by your name. So in fact, she was very proper.
Yeah.
She'd left the studio to go down the hall. She had to go to the bathroom. I said, "Oh, it was a grand piano." And I said, "Okay, I'm going to try one of my jazz tunes." And she came back. She said, "What's that you're playing?" It's a wonder somebody didn't come in and tell you to stop playing. It was like the devil that invaded the church, right? So
Oh my gosh.
that type of music doesn't get played here. But anyways, when I discovered this, I went from a forced practice of a half hour a day to 2 hour practicing blues and jazz, because it was really,
You're passionate about it.
and I paid for my own lessons.
Mm-hmm. It's funny, as soon as you find that thing, you're like, yeah, I'm all in now.
Yeah. So that's how I got in. That's kind of I'm about, I think I was 17 or 18 by this time, But we had a great, we had a blues band. We used to go to I don't know if you've heard of Wasaga Beach, but it's on Lake Huron here in Ontario. And it's been a go-to beach. It's the longest freshwater beach in the world. Like it goes
Oh, wow.
7 or 8 miles, right?
Wow.
And you can walk out literally 100 yards and it'll be up to here. Okay.
Wow.
So, there's pictures of cars, from the 1920s and 30s parked on the beach. That's how long. And in fact, when they built a highway up north called Highway 400, it didn't exist then, but they built this from Toronto, Highway 400, directly north, right up to almost to Wasaga Beach. So there used to be clubs, and that's the place for youth to go. Now, the ladies go with their couple of pieces of tissue there, and the guys are there with their, with their crotch makers, and they're walking. This is the place to go when you're a teenager, or but the beauty thing about Wasaga Beach, they have family sections, dog sections. You're like, this mile is for this, and this mile is. Oh, I love cats. I've always had a black cat, and so this section, the main drag, is for the teens, and so we played there, several weekends. I used to have a great time. The dance floor was filled, and so that was just my segue into them. Then I went on to there was 5 or 6 of us who really took it pretty serious, but I think I'm the only one that went on to make a living.
I love it. I love it. That's quite the story, You're forced into something, but then you find your passion and you turn it into a lifelong career. I love that. Yes,
Yeah.
and Jupiter has to show up. This is
Yeah.
my little guy.
Oh, he's a
He's usually
beautiful.
very camera shy. I don't know why he's showing up today, probably because you love cats.
Yeah. Yeah, he's well taken care of. He's all shiny. I see his hair is
He
all.
is. Yes, him and his brother Mars and Jupiter, they are very happy kitties. So you received this letter from someone who really inspired you to change your career in a way. Can you talk to us a bit about that a little bit?
Yeah, and it's so long. And it seems like it was yesterday, but it was at least 15, probably 20 years is probably more accurate. Well, I
Mhm.
was doing a concert. Um, I was doing a self-promoted concert.
Mhm.
You go down and I rented the venue, and all that stuff. And so what I'd done, I'd arranged to rent it. So I'd arranged to go down. It was a Saturday, and I'd go down in the morning. And I'm the leader of the group. The other guys, these are guys I just call up. Hey, I got a gig. Can you make it? And they show up. So it's basically just four walls and nothing. So I had to take down. I had theater blacks. I still have big black velvet curtains, which I strung up on poles. And I'm
Mhm.
doing that. And I had to go. I had a ladder to go down, hang lights. I had to transform it into the best I could into a concert venue. And I
Yeah.
had a grand piano being delivered. I'd rented it and I needed it delivered. I had to be there. Then I had the tuner had to come. So it was a
Mhm.
full day of activity, you know. So I'm doing all this and I had to set up tables. I had to sell stuff at halftime. And
Right.
everything was, I had the coffee machine, all that stuff. And so, the concert came and went. It was well received. And about a week and a half later, uh, I get on a small. Actually, I got it right here. I framed it.
Oh, I love that you framed it.
I don't know if you can see it, but it's on the blue. It's on a blue Post-it note, right,
Yeah.
right there in the middle. That's this.
Yeah.
Maybe
Wow.
if I turn that, there you can see that little
Oh,
red.
there we go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, and it says, and I don't know where. I was just there. Right? It was in a blank envelope. I mean, it wasn't a postmark. It wasn't somebody with their name on there. It was just a plain envelope. And so I'm
Mhm.
reading it. Oh, gee, look at I got the date here. I do remember. Here it is. It was
Oh, it's got the date on it.
3/11/99.
Oh my gosh, that's the year I graduated from high school.
There you were. Well, you were
We're
fooling,
dating ourselves now.
you were fooling around in high school. Yeah, there you are. And January, March. So has it been March? I guess that's March. Geez, the 11th. I'm thinking it's yeah. Yeah, because it would 11 would have been November. Yeah, it would have been the warmer weather. Yeah, so it's the 3rd of March, 90 frigging 9. So I'll just read it for you. It says, Dear Kory, thanks for the check. I have admired your persistent, quiet determination and attention to details. It's more than talent. It's a mature determination. I could do well to apply the same to my life. May God bless all of your efforts. Signed, Nick. Now, Nick was my contact at this venue. So he was,
Mm,
I had the, I sent him a check for the rental of the place, but his main job, he was the building custodian.
yeah.
And he wasn't praising me for my talent.
Right.
He watched, and I didn't know he watched me set up
Everything up.
the room, blew him away. He says, because I knew what I was doing. He says, and it was the quiet. See, he gave me the title, quiet determination, and I said, what did he mean by quiet determination? I had no idea. I'm going to put that. I put this note away on the shelf, and it sat there
Hmm.
for about 10 years. And I said, I'll figure it out one day.
Yeah.
And then I met this gentleman. He's from the States. He's Rob's on, I forget his name. But anyways, he was in the business of helping people write books. Everybody's got a book.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, this is my book.
Yeah.
I'm going to figure out what quiet determination means. And
Mm-hmm.
it was, it was something that, that Nick, that guy who wrote the letter, saw that I was just going about my business quietly, one
Mm-hmm.
step at it. And that's how I conduct my life.
Yeah.
And when I look back, I've done this. I do things. I do it. I said I'm going to do it, and then I do this. I do this. Many people just say, "Oh, gee, I want to do it, and I hope I can do it, and I think I
Right.
can, or somebody will help me do it." No, 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 no.
No, 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 no. You just do it.
Do it, and you do it quietly. I mean, the quiet is substitute the word determination.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't make noise. You just show, and you just get it done. And so when I was writing the book, there's
Mm-hmm.
a shameless plug. Um,
Sure,
I
everybody knows about your book. There will be no shameless here.
I said, okay, I'm going to write exactly how I got to where I was this point in life, because I considered myself successful. I didn't have $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't rich. I wasn't famous. They weren't beating down my doors, but I was successful. I was
Mm-hmm.
making a living. I I owned my home. I had a car. My kids were taken care of. So I was successful, and I did it through music. And I realized it wasn't uh, the music, but it's how you conduct yourself. Okay. And as I wrote the book, I realized I learned those lessons through music. So
I love that.
I've often told parents, well, actually one parent told, because I sent out an advertisement once, and because I taught from home too, and one of the things was, one of the bylines was successful in music, successful in life.
Yeah.
And this one parent phoned me, we talked about that, and that really hit home. It's you can I don't and that changed my teaching too, because and this is the truth. Okay, I'm going to let cat out of the bag. Most music teachers are looking at the wall, at the clock.
Right.
See if
Is
the
the
lights
hour
are
up yet?
over.
Yeah.
Oh no, not a half hours, please. The kids are so bad. 90, they're like me. Like, at least I had talent, but most of the ones who are driven don't have any talent. And I know from experience, okay? I mean, God help me. I mean, please God, let the half hour come. Okay, because mistakenly, I was trying to make them better musicians. And mistakenly, their parents were trying to make them, oh, come, little Johnny, play for Uncle John and Aunt Molly, right, and for the community, whatever. That's not it. The whole idea of music lessons is to prepare you for life, to make you accountable. Get your behind in, and I was taught this. Get my behind in, sit at the piano every day, 5 days a week, and half hour. No if and or. And every time I wanted to leave, my mother held me accountable. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is why I say it's hard for parents. You have to be accountable to make your kids accountable. Otherwise, they'll just drift off and well, I don't want to do it. Okay. And this is what builds accountability in you. If you don't have it, you start to you learn, gee, if I'm actually playing not so bad now. So, you just can't be born. Okay, if you're born with accountability, that's great. It's not, some things you have to be exposed to and taught to learn what it actually is. And so that changes my thoughts about teaching. I'm no
Mhm.
longer teaching, and then it made it much more enjoyable. Okay, I'm going to make you do it again because I'm teaching you how to be accountable. Okay,
I love that so much. It's like, as you're talking about your story, your mom making you play for half an hour, there's so much gold in that, right? Like the consistency, the showing up for yourself, the doing it every day, even if you didn't want to, and then finding your passion in it and turning it into a career. There's just so much gold there. I love this so much.
and take all those consistency, compassion, transfer that to doesn't matter what
Anything,
it is, anything, and you
anything.
will be successful.
Yep,
And
exactly.
so this is, as I wrote the book, this is what I learned. So I just went back on my own experiences and talk about, how do you have to plan to practice, you have to know what to practice, you have to know
Mhm.
how to practice. I mean, you just don't go in and go la 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 la, and you have to sacrifice. Sorry
Yeah.
guys, it's cool. I can't. I mean, I used to be. I'm quite active. So as a young boy, you're growing up, you're playing football, baseball. We had a vacant field down the end of our street. We played
Mhm.
football and baseball, and I'd be playing with the guys down there, and I'd hear in the middle of the game, "Quiet, time to practice." Okay, I had to stop what I was doing.
Yep.
Sorry, guys, I gotta go practice. Okay, so I'm having fun. I gotta go into torture, but you see, this makes you sacrifice until the road there is you're gonna have to give some things up. Sorry, that's
Yep.
sacrifice. So it's another lesson which I didn't know I was getting. Okay,
Right.
so and so you just do it, and other people think it's weird or not weird. With how the hell do you do that? Well,
Mhm.
come from a good home.
Right. Yeah.
you know
Yeah. Those values instilled within you, right? And just it doesn't matter where you learn it from, but you got to learn it from somewhere. And it is that like it's just showing up for yourself, like that accountability piece of I want to do this, so I know I'm gonna have to do this every single day for half an hour.
you want to
Right? At least.
successful. Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
develop a work ethic. You know,
Yeah.
and I went on to other things. Actually, I have a chapter. Does music really make you smarter? And it really does make you smarter because it
Mhm.
trains. It's a proven fact. You take any kind of music lesson as a student, uh,
Mhm.
before and after, your achievements in school are noticeably better.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. I believe it. I believe it.
because you've been trained to concentrate.
Mhm.
If you have to learn to concentrate for a half hour at your lesson practicing or 15 minutes, you will concentrate when the teacher is talking. You won't be turning around talking. You won't be on your cell phone. I mean,
Yep.
you've trained your mind because the attention span now is what what is it's under
2.5 seconds.
isn't that I mean unheard of.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah.
Foresight. I mean, it's just gone. It's ridiculous. So
Yeah.
that's just one of the many things. And there's things like problem solving. I just went through. I didn't really have a plan for a subject, but I just thought because I had a plan to write. So my plan
Mhm.
was to write 1,000 words a week.
Yeah. Again, another practice every single day.
Plan your work,
Yeah.
work your plan.
I
Okay,
love it.
and
I love
so these things, so it was just things I was already doing, and I wasn't sitting on top of a hill saying I'm this, I'm great. It's just
it.
it's just a natural outcome.
Yeah.
And so I wrote about and so it's a mindset. So I wrote about my experience, but I realized that as I was writing, now people are going to think that oh he's just talking, work for him and so on for so big deal. What does he know? Every chapter I went to, I I went, I did research to what the psychologists
Yeah. Mhm.
everything I said, I backed up in writing about
Nice.
everything I said. So I'm not on, it's not me just saying, I just found it by accident. Dr. So-and-so said it. This study said it. Okay, so I'm not full of BS. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
aware of my results, and I didn't do it because they said. I'd already done it. I'd already established these habits and these traits. And okay, they say it too. So so that's the reason I did the research, and I added. That's part of each chapter. I always go to research and look at things. Like I even have. I don't know if you can see this. I'll turn this light out. This is a chapter about self-efficacy, believing in yourself. That you really have to have that. If you want to be successful, you got to believe in yourself.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you can see that cartoon.
The little cartoon, yeah.
What it is about self-efficacy, and they're going across a balance board like in the gymnastics, okay, and you can see the cat. There you are, okay, perfect for you. The cat back there saying, "Yes, I got this," right? Everybody else is afraid, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I got this. So I put cartoons, and I look for those, that sort of each chapter has a little cartoon about that underlines the subject of that chapter.
I love that so much. So let's do the shameless plug now. The book is called Quiet Determination. Where can we find it? Where can we buy a copy?
Well, if you drop me a line like at KORY at KoryLivingstone.com, Kory at KoryLivingstone.com, or even go to I will and tell me, and I'll send one. I'll send one to you. And actually, any of your listeners do that, I'll give them a free one. All they have to do is pay for the postage. That's all. I'll send it because
that's so nice.
It's a fat book. It's almost 300 pages. So do that, or you can go to my website. But no, just write me, because I'll have to mention your name. Okay, if you don't mention, you're not gonna get it.
You have to mention that you heard it on Life at Full Blast podcast. That's important.
Cindy sent me. Okay. Okay, that's that, and then I'll just send, and then I'll ask you for your details and where to send it to, and I'll all you have to do is paste whatever the postage is, depending where you are. That's all you got to do, and I'll send one to you right quick. So
that's so special. Thank you so much. A signed copy, I'm assuming.
A signed copies. It's I suppose when I used to entertain a lot in clubs, I had a whole skit that I did, and my giveaway was a autographed Bible.
Oh, there you go.
You think about it, who autographed it, right?
Right?
It was 16 baby chickens in an autographed Bible, because it was a thing about these preachers who, yay. I had a whole skit, but if you sent in your $1.98, you get 16 chickens and an autographed Bible.
Right.
Nobody asked me who autographed it, so
that's hilarious.
They probably thought who autographed it.
Right? Yes. Signed by the man himself. Oh my gosh. Kory, thank you so much for being on the show today and sharing a little bit of your story and your book with us. Thank you so much for that gift. I do hope that the audience takes you up on that offer. And if you were to leave the audience with one thought, what would you say to them about being successful?
Being successful, number one ingredient is plan your work, and then be accountable and work your plan. It's that simple.
It's that simple.
And you can always review your plan.
Yep.
Make edits, but plan your work your plan. But you have to do it. You have to do it.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Oh my gosh, Kory, thank you so much for sharing your magic with us today. I really appreciate you being on the show.
My pleasure. Take care.